So this is my favorite kind of video to make. I'm going to show you a super cool handmade instrument that's great for guitar players. And it's different. It's unlike anything else. And the second half of this video shows a little documentary of how it's built and the guy who builds it. I'm not getting any kind of fee for this. It's me simply showing you what a friend of mine makes that I think is amazing, this handmade instrument. I want to show it to you in case you're interested, but I'm also going to show you an alternative that's under $500. This guitar is called the Chop 6 by Pipe Dream Fretworks. Now, this is better than a baritone guitar for a few reasons. A baritone is usually from B to B. You have to go down a fourth. You have to transpose. So the key you're in on the guitar has to be changed when you switch to the baritone and add your baritone part. Not so with this. It's the same key. When you're in E on a guitar, you're in E on this. It actually goes lower than a baritone. The other thing about this is the neck is so wide and the headstock is so big, it rings like a piano. I'll demonstrate that. I'm also going to show you how freakishly in tune this guitar is, even up on the high frets. And very few baritone guitars can make that claim. So this guitar is E to E. It follows in the tradition that was started in 1956 with the Danelectro UB2 six-string bass, and then in a greater way in 1961 by the Fender Bass 6, which is the most famous one, and that Bass 6 was used on tons of pop records in the 60s. So my favorite record of all time, I've said this before, is Wichita Lineman by Glenn Campbell, and he plays a solo in the middle on the Fender Bass 6. I've always loved this instrument. Now, Fender doesn't seem to make the reissue right now, but Squier does. So take a look at the Squier Bass 6. It's going to be a little harder to get around on. It's got the longer scale, but it's going to give you a more lo-fi retro sound, and that's good too. So I've added reverb and tremolo. I'm going to pick really far back by the bridge so it's super bright and clicky. I'm only going to use the bridge pickup. Now, if I play a low B, which is what a baritone usually is, sometimes they go to A, but they're usually B to B, we're in baritone territory. And because of the fidelity of this thing, that it rings like a piano because of this super wide neck, even when I go down to the E, it sounds like a baritone. And it holds up really well even when you go up high. Now, if I want to switch to a bass and be like a bass player, all I do is change the pickup configuration. I'm going to leave this one on and bring this one in. And then I use my fingers, make sure the tremolo is off and the reverb's off. And now I have bass. So we start with a bird's eye maple top that's pretty three-dimensional once you get up close to it. And then we have an African mahogany center and a maple back. Traveling up the rich light fretboard, we come to the headstock, which is laminated with bird's eye maple, paddock in the center, and two black-stained poplar accents. Now this runs all the way from top to bottom, front to back, all the way down the length of the guitar. The truss rod has a bar on each side, a carbon fiber bar that will guard against any future twisting. This instrument has EMG J-style active pickups, but he puts all kinds of different pickups in his different versions of these. It has a Hipshot A-style bridge and Hipshot ultralight tuning machines. Short scale basses do have an issue with regular bass string sets. You see that? That's the small part of the string That's necessary to wind around the peg. You can't use the large part of the string. He has solved that with what he calls the anchor block. You simply pass the string through, snip off the ball end, and then tighten with these screws, 2 vices that secure the string. And last but not least, he has a magnetic back plate, so you just pop it off, and you get right to the electronics. Guys, a reminder, if you want guitar lessons, click the link below for the 14-day free trial in the Masterclass. It's gotten quite large. I'm going to keep adding to it. 14-day free trial so you can opt out if it's not right for you. So I asked Rob to make a mini documentary, a little chronicle of how he builds the guitar. Let's check it out. It's super fast, just a few minutes, and it's very cool to watch. Also, as you watch Rob build this instrument, listen to the backing track. I'm playing a traditional bass part softly using the 2 fingers of my right hand, plucking them, not picking, and it's very punchy. It sits well in the track and works great as a traditional bass. Hey guys, a lot of the time YouTube will bring you my videos even though you're not subscribed. If you get the chance, click this subscribe button and ring the bell.